Okay, today we are going to talk about author's purpose. I want you to open the page 258 in your notebook.
Okay.
Okay, in this lesson today, we are going to learn why the authors write books. Like, for example, if you are a writer or an author and you want to write a novel or a story, what is the reason why you are writing this story? Huh? But like, if you are a writer, imagine yourself as a writer and you want to write a book, for example, write a book
Mm,
of your life or write about information that you know you want the other people to know about it. So if I come to you and ask you, why do you write this book? Then what is your answer? Why you probably write? Why?
because for me, I think because maybe I had a story in my life, like something happened in my life, a story, an adventure, or sometimes also if you get like if you know something you want to tell it to people, or it could be anything.
Excellent. So the reasons are so much. Actually, most of the writers and the authors write for many reasons. One of these reasons is to express their feelings or their story, their stories. For example, if he's writing a story about his life, he wants to express to other people how he felt at that time, for example, or maybe he wants to tell people that how to deal with children or how to deal with other people like him. So maybe the authors sometimes write their stories to express their stories or feelings, or might be even feelings. Another thing is to persuade the reader. Maybe persuade the reader. Why persuade the reader? Maybe I want to convince the reader that reads my book, to convince him, for example, I'm writing a book about the environment, okay? Through that book, I need to express that my opinion about environment, and I want to convince people that environment is very important, that I want all the people to care about it. So the reason of that book would be what? Persuade. Persuade, it means to convince people to do what you are doing. So maybe this is another reason to write a book. Another reason to write a book is to inform people about something they don't know. Like, for example, the story of Into the Ice. The story about Into the Ice, it was about some expeditions that went to the North Pole. You probably didn't know this information before, right? Did you know it before? The information about the expeditions on the North Pole? Huh?
No.
No. So it was the first time to hear it. So the writer wrote these kind of stories. Why? To inform people about information they probably didn't know. Also, the story, The Chimpanzees I Know, or The Chimpanzees I Love. It's also about informing people because most of the people, they don't know information about chimpanzees and their environment. That's why these type of stories we call it expository texts. Expository texts, they are always there to inform people.
Information.
Yeah, because it's full of information that probably most of the people they don't know. Other reason to write is to entertain. You remember the story of the old dealer in the first
Yeah.
lesson? That story was to entertain the reader. Why? Because it is mostly the stories of realistic fiction or fiction are there to entertain people. Maybe we can learn a moral of that story, a lesson of that story. Maybe we can tell it to our children before they sleep so they entertain. Maybe we can have it in our free time. Then we will just read a novel or read a story and have some fun time. So all of these reasons we can put it under entertainment. So sometimes the author only writes to entertain the readers and to have a good time with their children or with themselves. So a lot of reasons or purposes the author write their stories for. It's up to you as a writer. If you are a writer one day or an author one day, it's up to you to realize and to specify which type of purpose you are writing the story for. You are the one who determine if I'm writing this story to inform people or to entertain people or to persuade people, depending on the story itself and what did you choose for your story. Okay, طيب, let's go right now for the page 258 in your notebooks.
No, miss, it's loading.
Now, did it open?
No. Yeah, now open.
Okay, in the page 258, we have this thing. The author's purpose is the reason or reasons the author has for writing. Authors may write to persuade, inform, express ideas or feelings, or entertain. As you preview a selection, predict the author's purpose. After reading, ask if the author met his or her purpose. Let's go for this passage right now. I'm going to read it for you, and then I want you to focus about why this writer wrote this passage. What is the reason for that? So during the 1960s and 1970s, polar bears were a threatened species. So a landmark agreement was reached to stop sport hunting of the bears. However, a bigger threat to the polar bears today is global warming. The warmest temperature in 4 centuries have reduced the ice cover over the Arctic water. If there is more open water, younger bears may not be able to swim far enough to reach solid ice for their food. Warmer springs also lead to more rainfall, which can cause bears' dens to collapse. These conditions lead to lower fitness and reproduction. Okay, this passage, he is informing us about what? About some information about the bears. And he's saying that during the 1960s and 1970s, polar bears were a threatened species for what? For they are dying so much. And some of the scientists, they say that maybe after a while, we will not have any polar bear on the world. So they were threatened species. So they put them what under protection. But what happened is, even after they put them under the protection, what happened that there was another threat for these bears for the global warming. Global warming, it means the temperature of the whole world is raising that caused the ice and the snow in the Arctic and in the Antarctic continent to what? To melt. What's going on after that? That there's more water and less ice for these bears. So these bears want to come from water to another ice, but there's no another ice. There's only water. They are swimming, but there's no land, so they can go over it and go for hunting because they need also to walk, not always to swim. If they swim the whole time, they will die. So they are threatened right now. And if the temperature complete to raise in this way, after a while, we will not have any bears to have them in this world. Why? Because not even the swimming is a threatening for them. Also, their dens and their houses that they made inside the ice, because of the global warming, it will melt down. And then there's no dens for them. There's no houses they can spend the time in. If they don't have any dens or houses, then there's no reproduction. Yeah, there's no polar bears that can get married and have children after that. So they will extend after a while. That's why they are so threatened. Now, if I go right here to the questions and try to read the question, the first question says, what is the author's purpose? So if I'm asking you, Wateen, what is the author's purpose? What do you think? From the things that I said right now. Why the author wrote this story?
Because he wants the polar bears like
Does he want to persuade us about something? Or maybe he wants to inform us about something? Or maybe he wants to entertain us? Or maybe he
wants to like
inform or entertain or persuade?
He wants to persuade us in something.
Did he say that you have to do that and you have to do that? Huh? Did he?
Yeah, because
nothing. What he mentioned was only what? Information, right? He didn't say we have to go to save the polar bears and to take them out of there and maybe to stop the global warming. And he gave us advices. No, he didn't give us any solution or advices. He only gave us what? Information about the threatened polar bears. So what is the reason why he wrote this right now? Is it inform or persuade or entertain?
Inform.
Inform, excellent job. So he did it inform us about the threatened polar bears? Okay, this is for the first one. The second question, yeah, Watin. Read the question and answer it. During reading,
What are 12 clues to the author purpose?
what are the 3 clues to the author's purpose? Now we said that he wanted to inform us about the polar bears. But give me 3 sentences that show you that he really wants to inform you about the polar bears. Give me sentences from the passage. Maybe one sentence is what?
Oh wait, during the 1960s and 1970s, polar bear were a threatened species.
Okay. This is the first sentence, and it's like the main idea. No, I need some specific details how they are threatened. Give me some of these details. In which way they are threatened? Tell me.
If there is more open water, younger birds may not be able to swim far enough to reach solid ice for their food.
Excellent. So I can say global warming, this one. Okay, I will say, and let's do it with other own words. Global warming is reducing the water cover. This is the first one, huh? So it reduced the water cover. Then what happens? Give me another reason why they are threatened. They need the solid ice for what? Polar bears need the solid ice for what? Oh. Why they need the solid ice? To sleep on it or what?
No, for their food.
Yes, to hunt their food. This is number 2. And then number 4. Another threat for the polar bears is their, let's write it with capital, their dens can be collapsed because of the warmer springs. All of these things show that they are threatened. So this is how we know that you want to inform us. After reading, what was the purpose, Smith? Now the writer wrote this information about the bears, the polar bears. And his purpose was what? To inform people about the threatened for those polar bears. Was the purpose met in this passage? After you read it, you think that yes, the information is really informing or not? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it's met. He's telling you how. How do you think it's met?
Because the polar bear, like all of the animals, we need them. So the polar bear, if he died, we're not going to have like any polar bear. And then it's like they didn't bring there's going to be less polar bear and in the North Pole and the Arctic watch and the Arctic.
Those polar bears will be less because of what? What is the main reason for that? Global
warming.
Yes, because the global warming is
reducing the.
Yes, it's reducing. Excellent.
The water cover.
Reducing the number of the polar bears in general. Global warming is causing the ice to melt, and this caused the polar bears to what? To extend after a while, and then we will not have any polar bears. Okay, Malak is here or no?
No.
Okay, write for me the answers. Do you have any question until now, Watin? Is it easy?
Yes.
This is the lesson of today. It's only about what the author's purpose. And then the other lesson, we are going to complete the reading part of the chimpanzees, I know, and we will have more information about the chimpanzees. After we finish today, inshallah, you will have online homework, comprehension online homework. It's only 3 questions, not too much. Okay, did you finish?
Yeah.
Do you have any question, Watin, for today?